देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। చాతక పక్షి స్వాతి వర్ష బిందువులకై అనేక విధమైనటువంటి కష్టములను అనుభవిస్తుంది. A bird called Chataka bird always aspires to have raindrops coming during the rain of Satvika. కారు మేఘమును చూచినంతనే తన దీక్షను ప్రారంభిస్తుంది. The moment it sights clouds in the sky, it starts its revolution. ఈ ధరణిలో కావలసినంత జలం ఉంటున్నది. There is plenty of water available for this bird. చెరువులు, నదులు, కొలనులు, సముద్రము కావలసినంత జలం పుట్టిస్తుంది. There are small lakes and tanks, and in the ocean plenty of water is available. Rivers, plenty of water is available for this bird. కానీ ఈ చాతకములకు ఈ మలినపు జలము, ఉప్పు నీరు తాను ఆశించదు. But it never aspires to touch the only water which is dirty or the salt water of the ocean. స్వాతి బిందువులకు, స్వాతి కార్తికై, it is Swati rainy season and those drops coming directly from the clouds. జలధరల నుండి కురిచినటువంటి ఈ శుద్ధమైనటువంటి యొక్క వర్ష బిందువులను ఆశించను కానీ, నించిన నీరును కానీ, ప్రవహించే నీరును కానీ తాను ఆశించదు. It aspires to drink the raindrops directly coming from the clouds rather than drink the water which is stagnant or which is moving. భయంకరమైన ఉరుములకు తాను ఏమాత్రము భయపడదు. It is never afraid of the tremendous thunder. ఉరుములటువంటి యొక్క ఈ మెరుపులకు తాను వెరువదు. It is not even afraid of the lightning during the rainy season. అదరక, బెదరక, కదలక, స్థిరమైనటువంటి భావంతో ఆ యొక్క సులలితమైనటువంటి నీటి బిందువులకై తాను తపస్సు ఆచరిస్తుంది. Not being shaken, not being afraid, not moving this side or that side, constantly aspires to have the raindrops. ఆ జలబిందువులపై పీ 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 అని తన ప్రీతికరమైనటువంటి యొక్క జలసున్నితమైనటువంటి యొక్క ఆనందమును అనుభవిస్తుంది. It drinks that water directly coming from the clouds and expresses its joy in the beautiful melodious songs and sounds. ప్రీతికి ప్రతినిధి ఈ యొక్క చాతకం. This Chataka bird is a symbol of నిజమైనటువంటి భక్తులు కూడాను ఇట్టి తపస్సును ఆచరించాలి. True devotees also దీక్షను వహించాలి. Must perform the penance. తాను ఆశించినటువంటి యొక్క ఆనందమును అనుభవించడానికి ఈ కఠోరమైనటువంటి యొక్క సాధన చేయాలి. In order to drink the divine bliss coming from the Lord, లోక సంబంధమైన మెప్పులకు కానీ, సుఖములకు కానీ, విషయవాసనలకు కానీ, గౌరవ ప్రతిష్టలకు కానీ తన పవిత్రమైన జీవితాన్ని పాడు చేసుకోరాదు. Real devotees should aspire like a Chataka bird, but should never waste their human life for mean things, worldly things, and things which are...
साई हमारा हम साई पे ऐसा प्रेम हमारा। साई हमारा हम साई पे ऐसा प्रेम साई राम जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता भयनाशा हनुमन्ता पवन कुमारा पावन वीरा पवन कुमारा पावन वीरा अति बलवंता हनुमन्ता अति बलवंता हनुमन्ता जय दुर्गा वीरांजनेया जय दुर्गा वीरांजनेया निरंजना विजयी भव निरंजना विजयी भव निरंजना ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतो सिद्धबुद्धतु सन्तविनायक सविता भावतु सविता भावतु ब्रह्ममस्तु नमोशक्तितु येषु पिता प्रभुतु रुद्रविष्णुतु रामकृष्णतु कलिमलावतु कलिमलावतु वासुदेवो विश्वलोकतु चिदानन्दहरितु अद्वितीयतु अकालनिर्भय आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our love to our beloved Lord Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram, and a warm welcome to everyone to our first Shri Satya Sai Global Council Region 2 retreat in North America. The Shri Satya Sai Educare cultural program comes to you virtually today. This was planned keeping the safety of children in mind, and this is what drove our decisions. Though virtual, we hope you will enjoy this collective offering to Swami from all the children, parents, and gurus from our region. If there is anything positive to take away from this pandemic, it is that it has brought us all together with the click of a computer. It has also given us an opportunity to take up personal spiritual practices or sadhanas to connect with our inner self and connect with Swami. We have about 10 active Shri Satya Sai Educare programs in Region 2 currently. With Swami's grace, we have 25 students graduating this year from this privileged program. Heartiest congratulations to all the graduates, and may Swami always be with you. You are going to venture into the world creating new experiences, and we hope that the Bal Vikas program is one experience you never forget, and your desire to strengthen your connection with God grows stronger. My gratitude to the organizers of the retreat for understanding and adjusting to the virtual format.
Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Mere Sai Ram. Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Mere Sai Ram. Mere Sai, Mere Baba, Mere Prananath Ram.
Baba, mere prananath Ram.
Mere Sai, Mere Baba, Mere Prananath Ram.
Mere Sai, mere Baba, mere prananath Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Mere Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai साई श्याम मेरे साई राम।
मुझे शांति दो भगवान।
एक बार पे मैं आऊं, मुझे शांति दो भगवान।
तेरे द्वार पे मैं आऊं, मुझे शांति दो भगवान। मुझे शांति दो भगवान। मुझे शांति दो भगवान। मेरे जीवन में साथ रहो साई नाथ मेरे जीवन में साथ रहो साई नाथ। मेरे जीवन में साथ रहो साई नाथ मेरे साई मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। साई मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। मेरे साई मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। मेरे साई मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। साई राम साई श्याम मेरे साई राम। साई राम साई श्याम मेरे साई राम। तेरे द्वार से मैं आऊं, मुझे शांति दो भगवान। तेरे द्वार पे मैं आऊं, मुझे शांति दो भगवान। शांति दो भगवान। मुझे शांति दो भगवान। मेरे जीवन में साथ रहो मेरे साई मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। मेरे बाबा मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। मेरे प्राणनाथ राम। साई राम साई श्याम मेरे साई राम।
Sai Ram and a warm welcome to everyone to our first Sri Satya Sai Global Council Region 2 retreat in North America. The Sri Satya Sai Educare cultural program comes to you virtually today. This was planned keeping the safety of children in mind, and this is what drove our decisions. Though virtual, we hope you will enjoy this collective offering to Swami from all the children, parents and gurus from our region. If there is anything positive to take away from this pandemic, it is that it has brought us all together with the click of a computer. It has also given us an opportunity to take up personal spiritual practices or sadhanas to connect with our inner self and connect with Swami. We have about 10 active Sri Sathya Sai Educare programs in Region 2 currently. With Swami's grace, we have 25 students graduating this year from this privileged program. Heartiest congratulations to all the graduates, and may Swami always be with you. You are going to venture into the world creating new experiences, and we hope that the Bal Vikas program is one experience you never forget, and your desire to strengthen your connection with God grows stronger. My gratitude to the organizers of the retreat for understanding and adjusting to the virtual format of the Bal Vikas cultural program this evening. My deepest gratitude to gurus, parents and children who volunteered their valuable time and effort, along with the tech team, in putting this heartfelt and prayerful offering to Swami. To the on-site Educare retreat team, your talent and dedication has inspired me, and you have created a new world for the children here on-site this weekend by creating spaces to learn and reflect. Thank you so much. We will start our evening's program with a few words and updates from Sumana Murli, our National Educare Coordinator. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective gratitude and love to our beloved Bhagwan. Dear elders, teachers, children, brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to each of you. Welcome to our very first Sri Sai Educare's cultural program at the very first Sri Sathya Sai Global Council Regional Retreat. I present myself before you with a heart filled with gratitude to our dear Sai. From the time the education wing was blessed with the name created by Swami himself, Sri Sathya Sai Educare, every single day I'm witnessing how he blesses our children, parents and gurus. First, let me begin with introducing you to SSSE. Educare, Swami says, is the blossoming of one's divinity. He says every child is born with innate good qualities. Our classes tap into their divinely bestowed reservoir of goodness to make them realize that they're more than what they see in the mirror every day, that they're verily divine. The program's name is the very same as Bal Vikas. Bal means child and Vikas is the blossoming. Bal Vikas is a program that Swami has started in India. It is that very program which is taking place in the United States, catering to the needs of our children growing up here in this country. The goal is to go back to basics, to what Swami has said the program should be, to be spiritual in nature, personalized to the needs of children, and yet unwavering from the highest truths, as those fundamental spiritual truths never change. Hence the name Sri Sathya Sai Educare. Blessed with the full name of Sai and the word Educare, the program is flourishing across the United States with its foundational pillars of the 5 human values of truth, right action, love, peace and non-violence, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema and Ahimsa. You must have seen the beautiful yellow logo with the blossoming lotus in between, with the names of the 5 human values around it, with the name of the program in the center, Sri Sathya Sai Educare, blossoming the divinity within. The next few minutes I'll give you a quick glimpse into the divine grace at work. Since we began classes in September, I've had 2 meetings with all center education coordinators across the country. I'm so happy to tell you that every single person is on the same page. I work closely with the 5 regional education coordinators. The philosophies that centers at the heart of the Sri Sathya Sai Overseas Organization and Global Council. What each of you do in the center is the most important task. To that extent, I facilitate every center's needs. So the approach has been zoomed into centers, zoomed into their needs, where we think about what the needs of every single child are and less Zoom calls. After hearing from all centers and feeling the pulse of each of them, I want you to note today that the Sri Satya Sai Educare program is strong. S-T-R-O-N-G. S is for secure roots. The program has very secure roots because we're going back to study his words, what Swami wants for children, and providing them in a language our children understand here in this country. The roots are divinely ordained because Swami says this is not a program, he calls this a movement. So these are roots to the very movement that Bhagwan started. T is for targeted initiatives for both parents and teachers. Parents and teachers are the two wheels of a bicycle. The child is sitting on the bicycle. Let's say the parents are the front wheels and the teachers at the back, and both are needed to work together to move the child forward. So the first initiative is for teachers. It's called the Teacher of Truth or Satya Bodhaka. It's a newsletter that is shared once every 2 months with gurus so that they can engage in what Swami has said. Swami declared himself as the Teacher of Truth during a Shivratri discourse. In this magazine, we go back to Swami's words and check out its implications for us gurus today in our classrooms. The targeted initiative is Harmonious Homes, the second one, and that is for parents. It's called Harmonious Homes, Human Values Parenting. This monthly guide is based on Swami's principles of parenting. This guide goes out to all the centers, so every center has a parenting moderator who sits and engages with parents as often as they can, as often as they want, and for however long they want on each study guide. Again, like I said, this is a very zoomed in approach. This is all about what centers need and how it works for them. And my job is to provide those needs that they have. So both these targeted initiatives have received very positive feedback. R is for regularity of classes. And none of anything I'm saying matters if children don't attend classes, if nobody's showing up, teachers aren't teaching, because then it's pointless. These classes have been so regular across the nation. Gurus have been exploring both virtual and hybrid options for children as the pandemic teases its exit. Attendance has been spectacular across the country, and transformations happen in children's hearts just by the mere act of showing up in these classes, and such is Swami's grace. O is for online SSSE classes. We've established online SSSE classes for children who do not have a center near their home. These classes happen in 3 time zones, Eastern, Central, and Pacific. And these classes will continue after the rest of us go back to our centers and study in person when the pandemic ceases. These will continue online until these children have a center near their home. It is my absolute pleasure to tell you that these classes are thriving, and we have the most dedicated team of gurus running them. Another initiative that's coming up and is in the pipeline is for Group 4 gurus. I'm going to leave that as a surprise for the future, in the near future. N is for new guidelines and new parents. New guidelines for the wing are all set and have been shared or will be shared soon with all the coordinators and you. New parents have been welcomed in with orientations across the nation. No parent comes in not knowing what they signed up for. Expectations are made clear, and the program is presented in the most loving way to families as often as needed throughout the year as they come in. G is for gurus training, and that has happened already, and over 45 new gurus were trained this past year. Our next training is coming up in the fall, and we're working on those dates and we'll share them soon. The strength of the program comes from Swami himself and from each one of you. It is my honor and blessing to serve you in this role, so each one of us may fulfill our sadhana, our destiny of service to ourselves, to our own souls, and to the little souls in our care. May Bhagwan always walk beside us in this journey. I hope you have a beautiful evening. Enjoy the children's program. Stay safe and stay healthy. Jai Sai Ram.
Swami says, "My tests are my taste." When Swami throws us a challenge, he also gives us an opportunity to connect with him and depend on him for the solution. A Sai devotee never tells Swami that they have a problem, but instead they tell the problem that Swami is with them and are ready to face any challenge. This was never more evident in the last 2 years during the pandemic. The Sri Satya Sai Educare program did not miss a beat. The coordinators, gurus, parents, and most importantly, the students were able to switch gears and adapt to the new format with dedication and grace. We want to take this opportunity to hear from the gurus in our region as to their experiences with this transition.
In Educare classes, I try to use my own experiences, both positive and negative, to explain the teachings. Sometimes, when these are not relatable to everyone, I struggle to bring in other examples and explanations.
Some of the challenges that I have encountered as a guru are due to the pandemic this year. Initially, it was very difficult to find interesting activities to keep children engaged on Zoom sessions. But children learned, and I also learned how to find interesting activities, and they also learned how to participate. So that's going well now. This year we also had a lot of new students who joined the SSSE program, which is really great. But since we could not meet in person, I could not develop that one-to-one relationship with the parents or children. Not having parents fully engaged is a real barrier because service activities and cultural events are as important as attending classes. So trying to actually get every child participate, especially in Swami's birthday programs and Ishwaramadi programs this year was very difficult, and it required a lot of time and effort from our technical team because we had to record every child individually according to their schedules and put the program together. I hope this will change soon and we can all meet in person.
Pandemic gave all of us a chance to reflect on what our true priorities in life were. There was clearly a stronger need for a spiritual growth or connection. When Bhajans went online, there was a huge sign of relief among Sai families. Everyone accepted Swami's will, adjusted to the new situations, appreciated the technology, and quickly learned and adapted it. Be it new ways of learning or teaching, communication or presentation, video making or video editing, and we continue to explore how to be more effective and connect to each other via online. However, what stood out most was an increased need for personal growth or discipline to do things. Be it managing your time, coming to classes on time, staying focused during the class, lead bhajans online. All of this required a personal discipline, and whoever put in more efforts clearly emerged as stronger and better individuals. My sincere gratitude to Swami for giving this opportunity and drawing us more closer to him than ever before.
One positive outcome of the pandemic is that the virtual classes eliminated occasional issues in transportation to and from Bal Vikas classes that parents used to experience.
We changed the class timings to Friday nights because most of the children said they were available on Friday nights and preferred the time, and a lot of teachers were also available. Due to that, our attendance has increased tremendously. We have almost 100% attendance for most of the students, which is a really positive thing. We didn't have that kind of an attendance when we were actually meeting in person.
We were able to reach more students and families after transitioning to online classes once the pandemic hit us. we saw more enthusiasm in children as well as parents of young children to be in class, to participate, and to be part of our Sai Center and SSSC classes. We also had very good attendance in the online classes, something we've always struggled with in-person classes. And another thing we noticed, we did many more center events or SSSC events within the center in a virtual environment than we ever were able to achieve in in-person classes, again due to participation, attendance, and more enthusiasm from children as well as the parents. Even now, after 2 years of being online, we have a few children who attend our SSSC classes from other states because they've heard of SSSC through friends or cousins that attend our center. So it always feels nice to see that enthusiasm and dedication from children as well as parents.
So the one positive thing that came out of COVID is almost 100% class attendance. So shortly after we made the decision of going virtual, we noticed that our kids used to join our classes almost regularly. Almost we had 100% attendance. And we loved seeing them on Zoom as well as Google Meet.
There are occasions when the students reveal their inner quest to learn the true purpose of life. And this provides an aha moment and gives an insight into Swami's words on inner divinity. These are the most gratifying moments that spur me on. Parents used to experience.
We changed the class timings to Friday nights because most of the children said they were available on Friday nights and preferred the time. And a lot of teachers were also available. Due to that, our attendance has increased tremendously. We have almost 100% attendance for most of the students, which is a very positive thing. We didn't have that kind of attendance when we were actually meeting in person.
We were able to reach more students and families after transitioning to online classes once the pandemic hit us. We saw more enthusiasm in children as well as parents of young children to be in class, to participate, and to be part of our Science Center and SSSE classes. We also had very good attendance in the online classes, something we've always struggled with in-person classes. And another thing we noticed, we did many more center events or SSSE events within the center in a virtual environment than we ever were able to achieve in in-person classes. Again, due to participation, attendance, and more enthusiasm from children as well as the parents. Even now, after 2 years of being online, we have a few children who attend our SSSE classes from other states because they've heard of SSSE through friends or cousins at a 10-hour center. So it always feels nice to see that enthusiasm and dedication from children as well as parents.
So the one positive thing that came out of COVID is almost 100% class attendance. So shortly after we made the decision of going virtual, we noticed that our kids used to join our classes almost regularly. Almost we had 100% attendance. And we loved seeing them on Zoom as well as Google Meet.
There are occasions when the students reveal their inner quest to learn the true purpose of life. And this provides an aha moment and gives an insight into Swami's words on inner divinity. These are the most gratifying moments that spur me on.
The most gratifying part of being a guru for me is the time I spend preparing lesson plans. Every time I prepare lesson plan, I learn something new. I also spend a whole week practicing the life meditation before I actually assign it to the children that week. So that actually has made a lot of positive changes in my own life. During the class, listening to children share their experiences on situations that they had at home or at school and how they had made the right decision makes me very happy. During the human values strategy sessions that started recently, I enjoy sharing my experiences with other parents and listening to their experiences. And the weekly Veda classes that the children attend, and just listening to them chant gives me immense joy.
Being a guru gives me an opportunity to learn and prosper as an individual. I every day get to learn from everyone around in the center. And this is again an opportunity to serve back and to give back just as Swami has always wanted us to do.
Being a guru has enabled me to discover my true passion. And that to me is the most gratifying experience from Bhajans. I've often watched on TV and my friends share what their true passion is. They've shared that they want to be an architect, and that is their true passion, their work, or their photography and traveling. Although I do love a lot of things, and including my work, I've often wondered what my true passion is. Being a guru has enabled me to discover my true passion, and I'm truly grateful to Swami and my Bhajans kids to help me uncover my true passion.
Sai Ram. Swami, we offer our love to you by presenting this collective offering from all the Bhavika's children. Please always be with us, guide us and guard us. Loving Sai Ram to one and all, we the children of Shri Satya Sai Educare have come together to present this program to you. Actually, we have really come together to really understand what Swami has been talking about for over 80 years. 80 years! That's a really long time. We all know how infinite Swami's love is for us. God came down in human form to give us the ultimate secret, and He spent 85 years driving the point home. So the big question is, what do we have to show for it? Can we honestly say that today we are living life His way? In other words, have we taken one or two or more of His teachings and made them a part of our lives?
That's a very good question. I never thought of it that way. Make one of Swami's teachings a part of our being. People say it takes 30 days to create a new habit or to shake a bad habit. According to a study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology, it takes 18 to 254 days for a person to form a new habit. The study also concluded that, on average, it takes 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. Our past actions and habits determine our present, and the actions we perform today will determine our future. So, if we can mindfully develop good thoughts and habits today, we can secure a good character for the future. Swami has said, human beings are neither weak nor imperfect. It is only a matter of developing good habits and being consistent with them. Wasn't Angulimala the robber turned into a kind-hearted person by the Buddha? Didn't the thief Ratnakara become Valmiki the sage?
By conscious effort, habits can be changed and characters refined. People always have within them, within their reach, the capacity to challenge their evil propensities and change their evil habits. By selfless service, renunciation, devotion, and prayer, the old habits that bind people to the world can be discarded, and new habits that take them along the divine path can be instilled into their lives. The purpose of all spiritual literature, poems, epics, books, and periodicals, is to discuss the nature of this character, its ways and vagaries, and to inform about the process of reshaping it. It is said, sow an action, reap a tendency. Sow a tendency, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. So, another big question is, have we picked a teaching of Swami? In fact, let's make it simple. Have we picked just one teaching of Swami and practiced it so well that it became our very nature? And in practicing that teaching, it shaped me to be who I am really meant to be?
Most certainly, something to ponder upon, especially at this very moment where we have all gathered at this retreat with the theme, Living Life His Way. The fact is, we tend to live in the world carrying on our worldly duties and fit in spirituality where we can. We allot a convenient time for our spiritual exercises. And this is fine because it instills the discipline of a routine and a time to intentionally connect with God. But sometimes I think we make spirituality convenient. Instead, what if we reverse this frame of mind and make worldly activities fit into spiritual life? In other words, live a spiritual life and fit in worldly activities. This prompts another big question. Are we human beings having a divine experience? Or are we really divine beings having a human experience?
In his divine discourse, On March 12, 1999, Swami said, "The Vedantas say the Atma pervades the entire world. The scientists say the whole world is made up of atoms. Names are different, but the power is the same." Einstein referred to matter and energy, but matter and energy are not separate from each other. Matter becomes energy and vice versa. This energy is divinity. You should lead your life taking divinity as the basis. You will ruin yourself if you take the world as the basis. All the worldly matters come and go, like passing clouds. From this part of the discourse, it means that realizing the divinity within us is the main task. We should learn to always have a consistent undercurrent of spirituality throughout life in daily activities and not intermittently when it is convenient. This way, we will divinize human life. Are you confused yet? Okay, here's another way to look at it.
What does it mean to divinize human life? Are we human beings having a divine experience, or are we divine beings having a human experience? Swami answers these questions beautifully. Swami says you should lead your lives taking divinity as the basis. Imagine we are all on a journey. We come across many stations in life. These are stations we don't compromise on. Well, that's because we have to live in the world, don't we? We go to school where we can learn about the world around us. We navigate the experience of making friends. We create relationships with our teachers and mentors. We graduate. We use our degrees to search and find a job. Guess what the next station is? Yes, you guessed it. As society would expect. Find a suitable life partner, get married, and start a family. Potlucks, parties, joyous moments of a new life that you are now responsible for. The same new life that will go through all the stations that you have just gone through. In this entire journey, there are stations we may not prioritize in life. We try to stop at these stations occasionally and when it's convenient. Some examples of these optional stations are places of worship, Puttapatti, the Sai Center and its activities like Bhajans, Veda chanting, Seva and Bal Vikas. Before we know, we have reached the destination and suddenly realize we are out of time and could never enjoy the benefits of the optional stations, which are, in reality, the required stations of life.
So, if we are to divinize this human life as Swami says we should, one way to do so is to make these stops a required part of this journey, to constantly develop the urge and yearning to be connected to Swami. This way, all the stations of our life, including the ones we saw earlier, can be spiritualized through this constant connection with Swami. Swami says, worldly knowledge is for the happiness in this world, and spiritual knowledge is for the happiness thereafter. It is only the spiritual knowledge that is in you, above you, below you, and around you, and that protects you. Spirituality Spirituality does not only mean outward worship and rituals, Swami says. We should also have the feeling of worship within. What does this mean? For example, at every stage of this journey, birth, school, job, marriage, family, we can learn to discriminate between right and wrong, good and bad. We can learn to avoid bad company and seek good company. We can learn to respect our parents, be a good friend, develop compassion, help others, avoid blaming others for our suffering, introspect and audit ourselves daily. In summary, before any thought, word and deed, can we ask ourselves, will this please Swami? And will this take me closer to Swami? This is an easy way to spiritualize our daily life and begin to live as divine beings having a human experience.
Wow, I never considered that perspective. That is truly beautiful. You know, this reminds me of something Swami said in his discourse on July 4th, 1996. Swami says that even the most mundane tasks, such as cleaning one's house or preparing meals, can be spiritualized if one regards these tasks as a process of purifying one's heart as they perform the tasks. Swami continues to say that doing one's duty is the highest form of spiritual endeavor. If we were to inquire to understand what Swami means, we would ask the follow-up question: how to correctly do one's duty? Our task, therefore, is to recognize that God is within us, and our job is to divinize this human life. That is, to maintain an undercurrent of spirituality consistently, rather than to maintain it intermittently, and only when we feel that it is convenient. Wow, I guess I just had an aha moment. Now, if only I could maintain this aha moment forever, life would truly be divine.
I love aha moments. However, having an aha moment is one thing. Putting it into practice is another. This is the task at hand, isn't it? Based on all that we've heard so far? As some of you may have heard, earlier this year, scientists accidentally captured data on brain activity during a patient's end of life. The patient was undergoing a routine test and died suddenly. In the 30 seconds before and after his heart stopped, his brain waves were similar to waves seen during a memory recall. This suggested that people may actually see their life flash before their eyes when they die. Literally. So, the takeaway from this discovery is to create more happy and good moments throughout life. Furthermore, if we take one teaching of Swami, understand it, and practice it consistently in any situation or experience, and make it a part of our being, a part of our thoughts, words, and actions, we will begin to create pure, happy, and good experiences throughout the day and our life.
That's very true. Swami beautifully says in the same July 1996 discourse that if everyone adheres to his ashrama dharma, the code of conduct pertaining to one stage in life, he will then be redeeming his life. When this happens, there is no need to search for divinity elsewhere. The divine is the indweller in every heart, like sugar at the bottom of a tumbler, filled with plenty of water. If the water is stirred then with a spoon of buddhi, the intellect, divinity will be experienced in the heart. Have the conviction that God is within you and in every being. Let us explore how we can build an undercurrent of spirituality in creating pure and good experiences throughout life. We picked a few familiar teachings of Swami. I'm sure you may have heard these at some point throughout your spiritual journey. We then asked some very important people on what they thought of the teaching and asked them to give us an example on how they implemented it throughout their lives.
drive slowly and reach safely. For example, if you have a test, you should start early, do it slowly, and take your time. And you will safely get an A without being accused of cheating. And it's kind of like a chain reaction, which means something happens and that leads to another thing to happen and that leads to another thing to happen. And another example from my life is once I was doing a science project. I started early, I did it slowly, patiently, and added detail, and then I got full marks. Thank you, Swami, for the teachings. We should always relax and start early. When we prepare for our school, meeting, or any other important interview, before time and plan early, it will be very easy for us to drive by. Being relaxed, our mind is much calm and we concentrate on our driving also. This way, when we drive slowly, we can also avoid accidents, which may happen when we are in a hurry. So please start early, drive slowly, and reach safely. Means you should wake up early in the morning and you should reach your destination safely and you should drive slowly. I will use this quote in my life by waking up early so my parents don't have to be in a rush. If they don't be in a rush, then they can drive me to my school safely. If you drive to your school safely, you can reach your destination safely. Means to me, for anything, if you start early, then you'll have enough time to drive slowly, so you'll reach safely. And the best way to implement this code is one needs to learn how to start early, so other things will follow you automatically. Start early, drive slowly, reach safely means that discipline should be followed on all occasions. It also means that one should make use of tender age. For example, if a sapling is growing straight, the tree will be straight. If the sapling is bent, the tree will be bent. I implement this by listening and chanting the Guy's name. I also implement this by following Swami's teachings with discipline.
Start early means that, like, if you have to go somewhere, you start early. Drive slowly means you don't drive fast. You show your indicator, you stop at the stop signs and stop at the red lights. Reach safely means you don't end up in the hospital. All classes at 7:30 p.m. I did not join at 7:40 p.m. because Baba says start early and drive slowly and reach safely.
Swami says good habits needs to start early so that we'll experience this beautiful outcome of these habits at the right time. Let me give you one example. When I come home from school, the first thing I do is to complete my homework. This gives me much time even if I have harder problems. Afterwards, I enjoy other activities and also I get good grades from my teachers for completing my homework well. I truly believe in what Swami says. Do not wait till old age to take the path of spirituality. Start early, drive slowly, and reach safely to all our destinations.
See what is good. Hear what is good. Talk what is good. Think what is good. Do what is good to God.
When you see no evil and see what is good, you only look or watch good things. When you hear no evil and hear what is good, you only listen to good things instead of bad things. When you do no evil and only do what is good, then you only do things to people like helping them. If you do good things, then you will most likely see and hear good things.
said you should only see the good side of people, not the bad side, or else you will be the enemy of that person. Somebody also said you should only hear good things. Don't hear people scolding or shouting or saying bad words. Don't do bad things like cheating, wasting food, or that sort of stuff. Or else you will get bad karma. Tommy at last says you should always do good things. Don't say mean things like talk badly to your mom or say mean things, and be kind to your family members. You should also treat people the same way that you want to be treated.
What does this mean to you? To me, this quote means to stay away from negative actions and to surround yourself with good company, positive actions, and positive outlook. What is a good way to implement this teaching? A good way to implement this teaching is to physically avoid bad company if possible, but if it's not possible, then you should mentally distract yourself from the bad company by doing Namasmrana, chanting Gayatri Mantra, and praying or remembering Swami.
If you see evil in your daily life, and if you don't focus on the good, then that same evil will blind you from the good, and you won't be able to walk a good path. I think if you create a world where you don't need to see evil because there is no evil, and I think that will shine a path for the future generations and lead us into a bright future.
I believe this quote means to try and analyze positive things and act as positively as we can. For example, the quote states to only see, hear, talk, think, and do what is good, and to shun what is evil. I think that a good way to implement this teaching is to avoid places of evil or badness, and to be in places that provide you with good thoughts and push you to do good deeds, etc.
To me, the quote, "See no evil, see what is good," means to me that we should always have good thoughts, actions, and we must also say, do, and hear good things too. And for the second question, I always do Namasmrana to help get rid of bad thoughts. And you can also chant any mantra to help get rid of bad thoughts.
To me, this one means to always have positive vibrational things and reverse all the negative influences. If you just do evil all the time, you won't have a great relationship with people, you will want to do something even more bad, and your mind will be clogged with bad thoughts. I'm going to implement this quote into my life by decreasing my TV time, because that's a big thing, because I watch a ton of TV and I always get bad thoughts and nightmares from this. So I just want to decrease it so that I don't get as much. I'm also going to differentiate my good friends and bad friends.
To me, the quote means do not listen to those who speak evil of others. Don't look for bad behavior and don't spread evil sayings. Instead of looking at everything in a negative way, be positive. For example, speaking no evil and hearing no evil is to keep us from gossiping. Seeing no evil refers to not just watching when an evil act is committed and to go help. We can apply this in our lives by first having a positive outlook and keeping your mind pure. What we hear and see affects the way we think, which causes us to speak evil from the way we think. Keeping our mind pure and positive will help us become a more good-natured person and do good things. The way we can keep our mind pure is by meditation and chanting God's name.
It essentially means to be good in all possible ways. I can implement this in my life by being kind to other people, helping others, and just being good towards other people. I can also implement this by staying away from bad influences in the school, at the school bus, on the screen like the TV, and anything going outside in the world.
I believe this quote means they should help others, not hurt them, and do good, not bad. To be more specific, you shouldn't talk behind someone's back. Instead, you should talk good about them, or just keep your negative thoughts to yourself. A way to teach this quote is by looking at the consequences of doing bad things. For example, if you talk behind someone's back, that person might figure it out and stop being your friend. Now, not only have you lost a friend, but others might start disliking you, thinking that you might do that to them as well. So, you should always act with integrity, since God is always watching.
To me, this quote means see, hear, think, talk, and do good all the time. We should do good things because if we do good things, it is possible that good things will happen back to us. Like they say, give, thou should do what you want to happen back to you. A good way to implement this teaching is a person should always focus on doing good things, not bad things. For example, if an old person is wanting to cross the road and cannot, instead of laughing or ignoring, we should go and help. We can always try to encourage people to do good things, and some might actually understand and do good things, but some might not. Now it is their choice of what to do, so let them, and they will later on in the future understand why they should have done good. If we all start to do good things, the world will be a better place.
This quote means to me that I should keep my thoughts, words, and deeds pure, so that my soul will be eternally pure and sacred. I can implement this teaching by seeing, hearing, talking, thinking, and doing good things. For example, I can be kind to people, respect them, and donate to a certain charity.
Hi everyone! This quote resembles to me as if there's a good and bad side to everything, no matter how hard we try. If you interpret the good or bad side, people will follow you in your footsteps, but there are totally two different outcomes. For example, if you interpret the good side, people will admire you for who you are and what you're doing to help build the society. If you're interpreting the bad side, people will also follow you in your footsteps, but you're just creating an army at this point to help break the society. A good way to interpret this saying or teaching is to see, do, hear, think, and talk what is best for the society and best for everyone around you.
Swami says that when we practice good with all our five senses, we will find the way to God. What this means to me is that when we practice bad with our five senses, we stray from the path to God. And when we practice good with our five senses, we follow the path all the way to God. How I can practice this in my day-to-day life is to not watch bad things on the internet and only watch the good things. Also, I can avoid listening to gossip. I can also avoid passing around gossip and compliment others. I can also not think of others with hate, but instead think of them fondly. Lastly, I can avoid physically harming others because it's not good to hurt anyone.
One good way to practice this teaching is to focus on the good and positive side of things instead of focusing on the negative and bad side of things. I make sure that I'm always in a good company, so that helps me a lot. Also, Swami says vocal discipline is very important, so always speak softly and sweetly. So that helps me think good and act good.
The best way to practice this teaching is to think good, because if we think good, everything else will fall into place. We will see good, hear good, do good, and speak good. But if one gets a bad thought, everything will get messed up. So one should chant God's name. Whenever I get a bad thought, I chant the 24th sloka of Hanuman Chalisa. It goes like this. Bhuta Pichacha Nikadahidave Mahavira Jaganama Srimate. What this means is, upon hearing God's name, all evil will go away. This helps me get rid of bad thoughts and unfriendly people.
As youngsters, you are very desired. లగేజ్గా తయారవుతుంటాయి.
It has become very big luggage.
ఈ హెవీ లగేజ్ ఒక చిన్న స్టేషన్ దిగాలంటే దీన్ని తీసుకోవడానికి ఎంత టైం
If you want to get down to the next station, how do you get down with a heavy luggage?
చాలా శ్రమ పడవలసి వస్తుంది.
We have to exercise.
శరీరానికే కాదు మానసిక శ్రమ పడవలసి వస్తుంది.
It's not only physical, it's also mental strain.
Less luggage,
more
big travel pleasure.
Big travel and pleasure.
What does this quote mean to me? This quote says that life is like a long journey. In order to make your journey more pleasurable, you should have less luggage. Luggage represents desires in this analogy. Swami is saying that less desires will make your life a pleasure. This quote is important to me because it shows me that desires weigh you down and that eradicating them can benefit your life greatly. Getting rid of desires is difficult but not impossible. Whenever you find yourself wanting to buy something, like a new phone, video game, or etc., you should categorize this desire by whether you want it or if you need it. If you already have a new phone, that works. You don't need to get a new one. You just want it. If your phone is broken and does not function, you need a new phone in order to carry out your everyday tasks. If your desire is in the want category, then you should see what effects it has on you and the others that you are interacting with. If it has a negative effect, like alcohol and smoking, or a neutral effect, like a new phone, then you should give up the desire. If it has a positive effect, like wanting to do service or a cleaner water filter, the desire is unnecessary but not harmful. It's okay to follow this desire because it can help you.
This quote is a metaphor for an individual's desires in life. For example, when you are packing for the purpose of travel, it is easy to take unnecessary items just in case, causing for more luggage to be carried. In this way, our minds think having more fulfilled wants or desires is the only thing that will make us happy. In reality, sealing on desires leads to true happiness, because when your desires are left unfulfilled, it will cause dissatisfaction, leading to negative emotions. Letting go of these desires can help reach joy and delight in life. Ways to implement sealing on desires in your own life is to be content and grateful with what you have and not compare what you possess with others.
When one is on a long journey, having less luggage means less things to worry about and a better opportunity to focus on the journey itself. Similarly in life, having many desires means your mind is occupied a lot and you can't appreciate what is happening on the day-to-day. An easy way to practice this principle is being more mindful and living in the present moment. So you can do this by not dwelling on past circumstances and not worrying about the future, instead focusing on the present.
To me, this quote means the less desires you hope for, the more comfortable the journey of life will be. In this materialistic world, we often forget to differentiate between what we want and what we need. Many people would like to live through life full of happiness, but if we keep adding to our desires, we will never be satisfied with what we have, thus making life a pain instead of a pleasure. So the next time you desire for something, really think about whether you need it, or try to make do with whatever you already have.
Life is challenging, easy. Life is dream reality. Life is a game playing. Life is love enjoy.
To me, this quote represents how life should always be taken in a positive and easygoing way. Every problem should be taken as a challenge that you are supposed to surpass. Enjoying life should be a priority and a goal that you should always strive to achieve. A good way to implement this teaching is to view any problem that you got as something you can overcome and never to panic or become upset when life becomes slightly harder.
My reflection on quote 2 is to always stay calm and relaxed during stressful situations. A good way to implement this teaching is to pray to Swami during tough times.
ఈ సుఖ దుఃఖములు రెండు కూడాను శీతోష్ణములు మాత్రమే ఉంటాయి.
The pleasure and pain are like heat and cold.
ఎవరికి మనం వెరవనక్కర్లేదు.
We need not have fear for anyone.
మనం భయపడవలసింది ఒక్కదానికి మాత్రమే.
We should have fear only for one thing.
పాప భీతి, పాపానికి భయపడాలి.
There should be fear of sin. We should fear for sin.
ప్రేమించవలసింది ఒక్కటే.
We should love only one.
అదే దైవాన్ని ప్రేమించాలి.
We should love God.
అదే love God.
Love God.
పాప భీతి,
fear of sin.
దైవ ప్రీతి,
love of God.
సంఘములో మనకు ఒక నీతి.
Morality in society.
Morality in society.
Morality in society.
The way I interpret this is simple. Love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. Whenever you have an unpleasant thought in your mind, do some self-inquiry and stay away from committing a sin. And be a good person overall in society. Do your dharma, be kind to people, be a good person. A way to implement this in society is to attend service activity and serve God enthusiastically and selflessly. Sincerity is key. Be truthful in everything you say, do, and act.
Swami says we must fill our hearts with Daiva Priti, Papa Bhiti, and Sanganiti. Daiva Priti translates to love for God. Swami isn't an authoritarian figurehead presiding above us and dictating to us what to do and what not to do. He's our friend who's there to guide us on the spiritual path and who's there to help us make the right choices. Swami has gifted us the buddhi, or the seat of discrimination, to help us make these choices. So we can listen to the Atma, that is Swami's voice, or the mind, which creates various schemes to distract us from the Atma's voice. So to always steer in the direction of the Atma, we need to develop Papa Bhiti, or fear of sin. So to develop fear of sin, the easiest way is to go back to Daiva Priti and develop love for God through engaging in various devotional activities or sadhanas. So once we develop Daiva Priti and Papa Bhiti, this will lead to Sanganiti. This is as you'll make the right decisions and choices, and your actions will also be correct, following the law and order, the norms of the society, and other various factors. So once we follow these norms and conditions of the society and act in an orderly manner under good behavior, this will lead to Sanganiti, which is morality in society. Moreover, people will look at you and be inspired by your behaviors and actions and take pride in executing them themselves.
To me, quote number 4 means that by exercise at least one of these traits, will help me reach Swami and obtain bliss. To start with faith, having faith in God means trusting God with your life. Without trust, we would not be able to have faith. One way to be mindful of faith is to exercise our ability to discriminate between right and wrong, or good and bad. Swami uses 2 beautiful stories in a 1988 Christmas discourse. He talks about the ant, who can make its way to a single particle of sugar in a heap of sand, while the most intelligent man cannot, or the tiny fish who can swim very easily through a strong current in the ocean, while the mightiest of elephants cannot. Do we have the ability to swim in this world? This demonstrates when having faith, love immediately appears. If one was to have no bad qualities that pollute love, such as ego, hate, or anger, they would love everyone. Swami says, if one is blessed with God's love, he can surmount all problems. When having love, one's immediate response is to be truthful. If you were to think about it, if you love someone, would you want to lie to them, even if lying to them would be beneficial? Hence, truth directly comes after sharing eternal love. Now, the reason as to why if there's truth, there's God, is because truth is the same thing, no matter the religion or race. Truth is God, Swami says. Truth never changes. Some examples of how we can implement this teaching is to participate in seva, learn to be patient, do daily meditation, and love everyone, including yourself. This way, when we use our God-given ability to develop faith in God and attain bliss.
So I think that this quote means that faith is the root for any action that you take. You must first have the faith in yourself to carry out a task before carrying it out. If you don't have the faith in yourself, you are more likely to fail before you even try. The next step after having faith in oneself is having faith in our surroundings. So we have unquestionable faith in our parents, siblings, teachers, and gurus, but we have lost the faith in the existence of God. Swami, in a discourse on New Year's Day 1983, explains that how faith is developed cannot be explained. The only way to develop faith is through conviction. We must acquire and study and develop the faith in God. With Swami's grace, proper inquiry and practice will lead to bliss. One kind of practice is namasmarana. For me, playing harmonium and singing bhajans is my namasmarana because I think that the words are impactful as well as very powerful. The more we repeat these words, the stronger our faith in God becomes.
It was truly wonderful to hear from all the children of Sri SSSE Educare. Thank you everyone for sharing what Swami's teachings mean to you and how you implement them in your daily lives. It sure was a beautiful collection of examples of how we can travel on this divine journey and have human experiences. If we all follow Swami's teachings, life will be amazing and we will make meaningful contributions to life on earth.
Please join me in thanking all the children of the Sri SSSE Program, including the who shared their thoughts and supports and inspired us all to implement them in our lives too. The program had plenty of messages. If there is one powerful message that we can all take away, starting at this very moment, it is to divinize every moment of our lives and offer everything to Swami. While addressing Bal Vikas Gurus in 1978, Swami said, Bal Vikas is the primary basis of the great movement to restore dharma in the world. The ideal of the program is to raise a generation of boys and girls who have a clean and clear conscience. And Swami entrusted this divine task to the Gurus of the Sri SSSE Educare program. Please join me in thanking all the Gurus of SSSE who work around the year to teach and inspire our children to be torchbearers of Swami's message.
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय, साई महाराज की जय, साई माता जी की जय। पदमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्षप्रदानं बाबा Namaste.